trash and not in front of plants is unacceptable. So here's the moss pole. I actually had to trade this moss pole for the other one that we made last night because the other one was too big. You know, don't need a giant moss pole. So the other thing I made last night is I got a round piece of wood and I got a little plant holder. It's typically for, let's see, it's for putting in one of those metal baskets outside. It's a plant holder. And this is a baby Staghorn Fern. And I have moss in there. I made a moss bed. I put dirt in. This was interesting. These are fencing staples, and you hammer these in and they hold a lot of weight. So this could get up to like 100 pounds. And then, you know, this little round piece of wood at the hardware store was about $8. So, oh my God. And I'm gonna kill the plant because I'm looking at the camera. So I have it in my sink right now. I was kind of drying it out for a little bit before, you know, we hang it somewhere. Okay, so these are some of my other plants. This is my variegated and non-variegated string of hearts. Let me see if you can see. So I specifically ordered one that had a lot of long tendrils, you know, strings coming down because I really wanted one that had some length. And then this I just think is so cool. This is a heart leaf fern, and I just love those black long stems and how these are kind of floating. It almost looks fake. I haven't seen one before. I think definitely in my local nurseries, it's a rare find. I don't know overall that those are one of the most rare plants, but they're not easy to find. And I just got up a little while ago, so I have no makeup on and I'm looking kind of sleepy. So here's some of my Pepperomias. This is the Pepperomia rana. And this is pretty. It's got like red stems and it's a real bright green. I love this one. I haven't seen anyone online that I watch that has one of these. I mean, maybe I've seen it in the background, but it's a Pepperomia rosso. I picked it up for $8. So I just think it's so pretty. And let's see. This is a silver, or it's a Pepperomia frost. You can see it's really silvery, the leaves. And then I have two Pileas. I put them in a slightly bigger pot than their garden pot, and they're getting gigantic. And one of them's growing a baby. I'm very excited. Apparently, they can grow a lot of babies. And then we have Planty. So this was the story that I cut myself off last night in the video. Planty is my Fiddle Leaf Fig. And Planty is very happy over here with my ladybug in it. So Planty was one of my first trees, and we named it Planty before I knew there was like hashtag Planty and like a Planty movement. So it was really funny. And this is my Yucca. These aren't very hard to find, but finding one really big and healthy like that is not always easy. I saw one other one. My son found that one at Lowe's for like $20, and I then saw another one at a shop a couple days later that was exactly the same, if not even as nice, and it was $125. So if you can find one cheap at the hardware store, buy it. And this is my Monstera corner. So this is my big, beautiful Monstera, and this is Stanley. So Stanley and Stanley Jr. And this is a Staghorn Fern. This one is so beautiful. It's got a whole bunch of ferns that it's grown that go all the way around. So it's really round, and I love the shape of it. Sometimes you just find a fern like that. I love Monsteras, so this is one that I'm growing big. I put it's starting to get little fenestrations. Oh, this new leaf, look at that. That's gonna be really fenestrated. I can see it. See? I don't know if you guys can. Like really fenestrated. Okay. And this is not quite a baby, but this one's just getting fenestrations as well. This is a Philodendron Little Hope, and I love this thing. They're really bushy and pretty. I don't like the, not that I don't like, but I don't have the larger version of this. I'm gonna not say the name right. It's the Zandu, I think, is the larger version. This is new. This is also Philodendron. I'm gonna have to look at it for the name. I have collected plants for years, and it's the Hoya. So it's the emerald gem Philodendron. And I think those are pretty common, but I again have not seen a lot of them at my local nursery. This is my dream board that's bending right now. This is my big Adansonii. So this is a Monstera Adansonii. Of course, it was labeled as obliqua. It's never obliqua. So obliquas have like these little tendrils that come out of the soil, and they don't have leaves on them, and they have bigger holes. But some of the regular Adansonii can actually have pretty big holes. So I have some spider plants, and I have Brazil Philodendron. Oh, you know what I forgot over here? Right next to Mr. Yucca this is my big Brazil Philodendron, and I found this at Walmart. This was really hard to find, and they had, let me think, what else did they have? They had a Cebu Blue, which I couldn't find anywhere else. It's a pothos, but it gets fenestrations later as it climbs. And they had this big, beautiful Brazil Philodendrons for no money. Oh, I forgot the peditum. So this is a Philodendron peditum, and I ordered it online, which can be really risky business. And it's gorgeous. It only ended up being about $30, which I was just looking at a local collector, and he was selling one, and it was one leaf, and it was $40. So that was a good deal. And this is my Buddha tree. These are actually not easy to find. And it also has a longer name that I forget. I am a bad plant mom. I don't know all their scientific names. It's a Jatropha. So Jatropha. And I hadn't seen one of these. This is one of my plant band-aids that I did. That leaf was broken, and then sadly it's missing another leaf right here. See my toaster right there? I put the tree right here, and my husband turned on the toaster and the leaf was right above the toaster, and I knew immediately when I found that that leaf was toast in the toaster. So this is my laundry room, which is a little weird to have a bunch of plants, but the reason I put them in here is it gets really steamy and they like it. They like the humidity, and there's quite a bit of light coming in this window. But it's not intense light, but it's enough light, you know, for these guys to get a lot of light. So I'm propagating Adansonii. You probably saw in my store. That's the only thing that's in there. And oops. So I had a little rock in there, and the rock is holding the branch down because I'm hoping that this long vine is going to root. So I pushed it down, and that little rock is holding the vine there so that it can root. And I have watermelon. So this is the next thing going on my www.planty.com store. This is a watermelon Pepperomia. I snagged 3 of them by chance. There's a local nursery in California and Monterey that grows a whole bunch of Pepperomia. And I have 2 kinds of baby rubber plants, green and variegated. And I'm hoping, they're growing like crazy right now. I'm hoping to grow those into some significant little plants. And this is the Philodendron Macaulay. This almost reminds me of the White Knight, but there's no white. Can you produce some white leaves for me? So again, that little philodendron was only like $8. I have string of pearls. Whoa, string of pearls. I found 2 huge, beautiful ones. Was really lucky. I haven't seen a lot of these at the local stores. I always try to buy local from collectors because I don't want the stress of shipping. But I did have to ship my Albos, which are actually new. I looked for them for a long time. And I found a collector. And this is really cool. So this one I don't see in a lot of videos. This is the silver stripe or the silver streak philodendron, and it looks just like the Brazil. Well, a lot of the vine philodendrons look alike, let's just be honest here. And this one's my favorite. I got 2 of them, and again, out of 15 or 20 local nurseries, I only found 2 of them, and they were very hard to come by. So this is just a curly spider plant, and this is just a regular green philodendron. Green, I think it's like a heart leaf philodendron. I'll try to write all of the longer names for these in the description, but that's a little plant tour. I'm trying to think if that's everything. I don't think it's everything. I have a huge what am I trying to think of? Orchid collection. So I hate dyeing flowers because I'm a plant person. So I always ask my family to give me live orchids instead of dyeing flowers because I feel like it's death on your countertop. Oh, one other experiment. This is my really, really old Monstera that got totally abused. I abused it. And I didn't repot it, so it just kept stretching and stretching and made these baby leaves. And I propagated, it had really long aerial roots too. I propagated this, well, I made 7 baby plants essentially. And one of them, it didn't really make it, but now it's growing its baby leaves again. But the baby leaves are so tiny. They're like this big. And I think bigger ones are going to come out of the stems of those, and the plant is trying to save its energy because it was literally a twig. I took everything from it. And that's our fly strip. Don't you want to see that with all the flies? So I naively got some Hoya hearts that are just in the soil, not realizing, because I'm not an experienced Hoya owner, that those hearts, that when they're like this, they don't grow a plant most of the time. In rare cases they do if there's a tiny bit of stem on the end, but I came home thinking, maybe these will grow a plant one day. And I was wrong. You have to buy a plant that has stems and leaves to get a plant. And then I don't know the name of this succulent, but we've had a big one outside for years and it grew babies. And I took all the babies and rooted them. And so now we have, and that succulent's called Herb, and these are Herbies. Herbie 1, Herbie 2, Herbie 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, because I thought that was funny. And let me see. I have Sansevieras. I have a couple snake plants. And today it's plant haul day. I'm going to pick up I'm going to pick up a Thai constellation, and I'm going to pick up a pink princess. And this person has a white knight, and they won't give me any of it. I was begging them. And then they also have, there's a pothos that's variegated that's really rare, and it has a long name, and I don't have it in front of me, but I have it written down. And they have that too, and they're not propagating it or giving it. And I think I also have a tetrasperma, but there's some lookalike plants with tetrasperma, and that's the mini Monstera. They're kind of rare and they're hard to find. You really won't find them at a local nursery. You have to ship them, and they don't do well in shipping. And there's a pertusa that looks very similar to the tetrasperma. So you have to watch out when you're buying them. And I think that there's also another plant. There might even be like a pothos, that could look similar, fenestrated as it gets larger. You have to look at the leaves and see if they're elongated or they're wide. So I'm trying to get a tetrasperma. I'm trying to get these things and propagate them. I have a farm. If you can see out there, we have a lot of space. That's just one pasture of a lot of space. We're out here among the cows, and I want to grow. I want to grow rare indoor plants. So I hope to see you next time, YouTube. I don't have very many subscribers, views, or anything yet, so I'm starting to make videos and lots of content for you. So that was kind of a plant tour. I'm sorry that took a while, like a 25-minute plant tour. And I'll be making videos every day. I should have filmed Stanley Jr.'s mounting on the wood because I thought it was so cool that I'm so handy. No, I am handy, but I'm not I'm not like, I watch some other YouTubers with plants or some ladies that are really handy, and I'm not in that class. You know, I'm handy, but only to a certain extent. So I figured this all out. I went and asked the guy at the hardware store, I'm like, this is what I'm doing. Do you have suggestions? And then I just put it together. One thing I did that I really like is when I mounted Stanley Jr., I used those fencing staples, which are really stable even with moisture. And I secured the fern in that basket instead of using like fishing twine, you know, or like the clear twine to tie it. So I don't really like the idea of winding that plastic line around it that's clear to put it on, mount it on wood or something. So this basket's going to keep it close to the wood, and eventually the roots are going to attach itself. So I cut the back of the basket out so that the fern can attach to the wood. We'll see how that goes. Have a great day. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification if you'd like to receive any of my videos that I'm going to be producing. And then on Instagram, it's Indoor Planty. I also have an Etsy store that's Indoor Planty, and you just go to indoorplanty.com to see what's in my Etsy, and it's just a small amount. I'm a hobbyist and a collector. I've been an esthetician for 17 years, and I have a national skincare line called Just Skincare, and that's my day job, and I do very well at that, but I'm trying to create some hobbies that lower my stress, and plants are really, really fun, and they're like living things that bring good energy into your home. Love you guys.